Happy Hour with Haley. I am back with everyone's favorite co-host, Jocelyn Wong Neill. Jocelyn, it has been a few weeks and I'm so excited to chat with you. I just came in from a run and I made it just in time.
You like barely made it.
I'm technically a few minutes late. I thought I would be a little early because I had a watch going, and the route I was running in the past has taken me about 4 hours. And I was like, okay, I can do it in under 4 hours. And I did it in 3 hours and 47 minutes. And I was like, I'm going to have 13 minutes to spare. But I guess I left late because I had like 4 minutes. And then it took me longer than that to log on. So I still like, why does that happen sometimes? I feel like actual time moves faster than like watch time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I get time blind myself. Do you have a beverage?
Okay, yes, because I'm so thirsty. I am so thirsty.
Yeah.
This is happy hour. I will admit I'm on my like third beverage in 4 minutes because I have a toxic trait where I do not carry enough water on my runs, and it's very hot in Montana here, and there is nowhere to get water. But so I have a mixture. I have a mixed drink. It is actually a mixture of Gator Light, cherry lime, Gator Light.
Okay.
And Kirkland sparkling lime. So highly recommend.
Oh, so you made like a sparkling Gatorade.
I made like a sparkling Gatorade. I wish I had ice. I wish I had an ice maker or ice.
Oh my gosh.
That would add a little.
I have ice.
Oh, I'm jealous. I also wish I had a little thing of vodka. But I don't have that either.
Okay, so I have one that's enough for both of us.
Yes. What do you have?
Okay, so I didn't have time to like mix something special, but I still have these Dogfish Head cocktails, and it's a Delaware brewery. So because I did nationals representing Delaware, also this one is a vodka crush because I crushed it.
Yes, I love it. Okay, I'm going to go to the store next time. I need to get a vodka crush. That could be the official drink when you crush it. If it's good.
If it's a blood orange mango. And so this is the one that's like 7%, 2 shots in a can. So one for you, one for me.
Perfect. I am so jealous right now, but I am going to, next time we come on, I'm going to go try to find these Dogfish Head vodka crushes.
Yeah, I don't know if you could get them over in Montana.
I know. We're going to find out. I'll do some sleuthing, and then look at that frosty glass and the ice. Oh, cheers. Cheers to you and nationals.
Cheers.
I'm so excited to hear all about it. So last time we talked, it was leading into USAT age group nationals that were happening in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You were trying to get in, I think, 15 swims before nationals. Did that happen?
I think I got to 11, and it was like there was 1 week, like a crazy week, right? As I was trying to get out of work, and I didn't swim like at all that week, which really messed up my 15 swim goal because I was like on track if I went every other day, and it did not happen, but I mean, I still felt like I felt strong swimming in all my races.
Okay.
So the last minute panic training actually, I think it helped.
Maybe this is kind of showing the value of goals in that if you set these kind of audacious big goals that it got you to swim more, you probably would not have swam 11 times otherwise, and it did set you up to have a better swim even though you didn't totally meet that pre-race goal.
Yeah. I would agree because I was having such a hard time motivating myself. I didn't think anything was gonna get me training enough.
Okay, well let's walk through the races. You've been to Milwaukee before. Have you actually raced in Milwaukee before?
So I went last year and I put all my eggs in the sprint triathlon basket because it's usually Olympic on Saturday, sprint on Sunday. And I was like, no, I just want to be a sprint distance specialist. So I didn't even watch my friends race on Saturday because I was like resting my legs in the hotel. And then I did so much to prepare for this race only to like show up on race morning and the whole thing was canceled because of the flooding.
Oh, so
So,
that was last year, and you went back this year for redemption.
I went back this year and it wasn't until this weekend was over I was like, wait a minute, have I been depressed for a whole year because it was canceled? Like, I just realized maybe I've been depressed for a whole year.
Wow. Did it fix it? Did this weekend
Kind
fix
of,
it?
because I was just like going through the motions. I like wasn't motivated. I mean, I had other stuff going on in my life, but it was just like nothing would get me out of bed to train for this. It was more like I was just gonna go back to like actually do it. But I was like not nearly as motivated as I was a year ago. I was looking back at my training. I averaged like 4 hours a week of training, like the last 2 months, and it's
Me
like,
too. I just do all that in one day.
yeah. So I was just like, yeah, I felt like I've been like in a funk, and I was like, but then since this past weekend, it's like a fog has lifted, and I'm like, oh, I really do enjoy triathlon. Like I do care about it, but it was almost like I was scared to care too much because it broke my heart last year after I had already like retired from triathlon 15 years before, and then I was like, I'm never gonna like care that much again. And then it took me like so long to get excited about something again, only to be totally like heartbroken that I was just like, I'm not gonna care that much. But it was kind of like, when you're talking about your ultra, it's like
Yeah.
we have to be okay with like caring. Like sometimes we care too much and it's okay.
I think that is a good lesson. And did it help though going to the race? Because I know for me, when I did do that, it wasn't even an ultra. It was only 24 miles.
Right. Oh, your trail
But
race.
it felt ultra distance because
It was
took
like,
me it took me
yeah,
longer
time-wise, it was like an
time-wise,
ultra.
it took me longer than a marathon, a lot longer. But so I think we can call it an ultra. But it did kind of took me getting on that start line and being like, oh, it's okay to care. Like it's okay to care, and like you should take care of yourself going into this, because even though you don't necessarily have those same like time goals that I had before, like, and I want to give myself the permission to stop and take pictures and, chat with people and do things that I didn't necessarily do when I was professionally racing, but you can still care. You can still care, like, and still, be a little bit, less intense, maybe. I don't know. I'm still pretty intense. But,
right. I know. I don't know that we can like not be intense, but it was like I think we're both like much less intense than when we were like racing as pros.
Right. Like like you don't care as much about your specific place. Maybe like you're gonna be happy, like you care because it's kind of fun to see. But then you're also gonna be like devastated that you're like out of the money, because you're always out of the money now because there's no money.
There's no more money. But yeah, there's like it does seem like, so when you do sprint distance, there's only very few races where there are people like super serious about it, and nationals is one of them, and then there's worlds, which this qualifies for. So it's very cool to be around those people that are like care very much and can still like a whole bunch that can like kick your butt, and you're like, oh yeah, I can't just like skate by on my 4 hours of training per week and like race on my really old bike.
So tell me about the weekend. Like, walk me through all 3 races that you did, because you started with the individual super sprint, right?
No, so it was this. So this year they added draft legal.
Draft legal. So that's right.
Yes,
not super sprint. It was a draft legal.
So it was the draft legal sprint. So draft legal sprint was Friday, and then the regular sprint, I guess the non-draft sprint is what I call it, was on Sunday. So they're the same distances. It's a 750-meter swim, 20K bike, which is like 12 and a half miles, and then a 5K run. So the difference though is that you have to race on a road bike because it's draft legal, and you're allowed to draft in packs.
And did you
And
bring
then,
2 different bikes then to nationals?
so a year ago, I like had considered it because I was so serious last year. And then I got like all jaded and depressed. But no, I ended up being like, I am not flying with 2 bikes. It's enough of a pain to fly with one.
Can you imagine
So
the fees? Like, I mean, I guess maybe you can make them really light, and so it's just 2 bags, but I'm just like,
if,
I can't imagine pulling up
yeah,
to like,
it's just
I guess,
like
oh wait, you're like, one of them is
annoying.
Ainsley's. You have, because you flew with Ainsley. Like,
Right.
she has a bike too.
Uh-huh.
I
It's
guess
just
that's
like
what you
hard to like
do.
wrangle all the luggage. So I flew American Airlines, and now as long as the bike is under 50 pounds,
Hmm.
I have a travel tip.
Yes, let's hear it.
Okay, so as long as the bike is under 50 pounds, then you just pay the standard fee, which was like, if you paid ahead of time, it was $45, which is like such a
Whoa.
steal, right?
I've
Okay,
never,
so
ever had a bag under 50 pounds. I
okay,
just
so
can't
here's
do it.
I'm gonna teach you how to do it. So
Chronic overpacker.
so
And what
where
I lack in carrying fluids on runs, I make up for by carrying everything I own on an airplane.
in your bike bag?
Yes.
Okay, so where you go to the gate and they weigh the bike is different than where you drop off your oversized luggage, right?
Okay. So what, you like leave a bag and then throw something else in there between the two?
So what had happened, I did this on the way back, but I learned it on the way there, is that it's 2 different places. They always send you to like the other side of the terminal to actually like give this other place the bike, because it can't just go on the conveyor belt behind them, right? Okay. So what always happens is I like pack a little too much with the bike, and it's over 50 pounds, and they're like, do you want to pay the extra $100 or $150 because now it's oversized because it's over 50 pounds? And it's like, no, let me shuffle my luggage around. So I always end up like pulling things out to get the like 7 pounds of extra whatever I have. But then they're like, okay, now take it over all the way to the other side where you like put the oversized stuff. So while you're walking it over there, you could stuff things back in there. You could totally do that.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
Are you too honest? I'm not.
Yes, I am too honest. I'm like, again, I live in fear of karma and Madame Pele and airlines. And I also think that, well, in Bozeman, they actually just take it to a door that's like right next to where they pay it. There's no way I could do it.
You can't sneak it in Bozeman. Okay.
Yeah, so when you come here, you have to remember that.
All right, can't do it in Bozeman.
But that is a good tip. I mean, it is. I mean, sometimes like some of those fees are like, I have paid more for my bike than myself before on an airplane, and I'm like, this seems a little excessive. And
It's
so
dumb.
I
Yeah,
think
so
you're
on the
fine.
way back, I had purposely like taken out the extra stuff and held it in a separate bag, thinking like, I don't actually know how much anything weighs. Like, I don't know. I ate my nutrition and stuff. But then where we had like checked in, they didn't have scales.
Whoa.
I know. And I was like, what? Because I was like, well, is it over? Is it under? And she's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you paid for it. Like, okay. So then she's like, well, and then drop it off over there. So I like just put everything in there.
Nice. I do like it when the airlines let you pay in advance, because I'm also just like, just take my money. I'm like, don't shame me too. And then also make me like hold up the line, putting on a credit card, all that. I'm like, yes, I'll just pay in advance. Just take all my money. Like, don't even like, I don't want to look. Like,
There was this weird part where I was checking in on the kiosk and they're like, is your extra baggage sports equipment? And I put, yes, it's sports equipment. So then they're like, please wait here while someone assists you. So someone comes up and is like, okay, like, is that a bike? Yes. It's not sports equipment. What?
I don't know. No one knows. No one knows everything with the airlines. But if you got it for $45, kudos to you. You're already winning on the weekend. So tell me about this draft legal sprint. This is the first draft legal race you've done, right?
Yes. So I raced bikes when I was in college, and in fact, the last time I owned a road bike was in college, and I used the same road bike that I had in college because I don't have any other road bike, and I happen to have it kind of like refurbished at some point. The second time I got hit by a car on my tri bike, I was like mad at my tri bike, plus it was out of commission. So I was like, you know what? I am going to get this. So it's a 1999 model, and it had Ultegra. It was like very high end at the time. It's a Specialized bright green like your tri bike. So, and so in 2017, I upgraded my 1999 Ultegra to 2017 105. And as most people know, Shimano 105 is actually a step below Ultegra, but like 18 years later, it's better than the old version of Ultegra.
Nice.
So it was an upgrade. It was
Yeah.
actually an upgrade. But yeah, still had the rim brakes, mechanical shifters, pretty lightweight. Like my bike mechanic like did a tune-up on it, and honestly, I just started riding it a week or so before nationals because all my plans to be like super prepared and like super trained for this like didn't happen.
But you made it. You made it there. $45 in bike fees.
There.
Your bright green
Yes.
bike made it, and you were ready for your first ever draft legal race.
Draft
going back to your
legal,
bike
yeah.
racing
So I have
roots.
done like draft legal bike races on my road bike in college. Like all through college and grad school, I was on the cycling teams. So it had been a long time since I had drafted in a race, but I know how to do it, and I felt like I had much higher, above average compared to a regular triathlete, like bike handling skills in a pack. So I
Okay.
felt good. So that was Friday.
So what are the rules? Are you racing with just women? Can you draft off of anyone? Like this is drafting on the bike. So for people who aren't
Yeah.
familiar, most triathlons you are not allowed to be. You're supposed to be like a certain distance behind the athlete, in front of
three
you on the
bike lengths or something like that?
I think it's 6 to 12, actually. Like six
Six
if
to
you're-
12 bikes?
6 is 12 meters, right? And then 12 is like 20 meters. So
I
it's
don't remember.
super serious, Jocelyn. But in a draft legal race, this is like Olympic style racing, like how the athletes race in the Olympics, you can be as close as you want to the bike in front
Yeah,
of you, right?
you can
So
jump right
it is-
onto their wheel.
It is you get a benefit, like you get a benefit where you can like you actually feel like you're going faster, or you are actually going faster with less effort, but it's a little bit crazy because you are so close to other athletes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah.
I mean, so is it all women? Is it like all your age group racing together?
So all of the, it was interesting. It didn't start until 12:10, so just afternoon. Which I think I was texting you that morning because I was like, oh my gosh, it feels so leisurely. I get to sleep in. I'm not racing until noon. This is weird.
Did you like sleeping in on race morning?
I did. It was like, you had time to have like multiple morning poops.
What about like, are you in a hotel? Did you get one of those? I would love getting
Yeah.
the waffles in hotels. If I went
Oh,
in like
so-
T100 races where we actually
Yeah,
got to have
yeah.
a leisurely breakfast, I would go make myself one of those like hotel waffles.
So the year before, we were at a hotel that had free breakfast with the waffle machine. So this year we stayed at one that was booked through Nirvana, which is like the travel agency they use. It did not have a free hotel breakfast, which is disappointing, but it did have Starbucks, and Ainsley ended up like falling in love with Starbucks strawberry frappuccinos. So she had one every day.
Man, that's a fancy,
it-
fancy 5-year-old
It's
there.
super fancy because it was like, what do you guys have that's not caffeinated? And they're like strawberry frappuccinos. So then she every day she'd be like, can we get Starbucks? I'm like, only on vacation.
Okay, whatever it takes. So what? So but you did have a good breakfast, and then you were able to get yourself to the race site, leisurely time. Are you mass starting with the rest of your age group? Is it all the women? What is the start like?
There were 3 waves of women, And I want to say it was like 35 to 39, 40 to 40. I feel like there was like 4 age groups I was swimming with. But they did have 3 waves of women, like 5 minutes apart. And then there was a huge gap from the men, I think started like at 10 a.m. or something. But then there was a huge gap from like the men's waves and then the women's waves. So that way, I think all the men should have been cleared off of the bike course by the time the women were there. Because I had heard that you can draft other women. And then I talked to one of the officials the day before, and she was saying, technically, you should only be drafting your own age group, but there's not really a way that they can enforce it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of bizarre because it was like, she was like, well, we don't want you, we don't want you like in your 40, 45 to 49 age group, like drafting like the teenagers. And I was kind of like joking, like, what if you couldn't tell that I'm not a teenager? And she's like, honestly, as an official, it can be hard to tell. So
there you go. That's quite the compliment.
So I think, yeah, they actually, I don't think they enforce like that you have to stick with a certain age group. It's more like your own gender. So you could just ride with other women, like whatever.
Is your gender, like, can you tell on, like, so because it used to be, like, they'd put your age on your calf kind of thing, but now they don't. Like, there's no
They don't even put your age on your calf anymore. Yeah. Right. So yeah, which tell. I wish they did. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, so you can't tell at all.
You can't really tell. And I mean, they have you put your bib number on your bike, but it's like, you can't even tell looking at the numbers. Because it was also like a much smaller race than like the Sunday race. A lot of people do. And then like I think there was only 15 people in my age group racing. It ended up being 12, but there was like 15 registered. So there was only 12 that raced on Friday that were in my age group. And I couldn't tell you which ones were like my age group or like the next one, you know?
Yeah, but okay, walk me through the race now. How was the swim? You said your swims felt okay, and then I know you had a little bit of a struggle on the bike. But is this when I swam in Milwaukee a couple years ago? I did race there for PTO T100 race, which it's one of my favorite race memories of all time, actually. And I believe we swam in swim skins for this swim. Okay. But were you in a wetsuit? Because it was like kind of chilly. Mm-hmm.
So it was wetsuit legal this year. And I know last year it was like just warm enough that it wasn't wetsuit legal. So there was always the chance. So I did bring both, but it was wetsuit legal. I definitely put my wetsuit on, and it was like, I felt good. And I think I just wrote up my little race report to my coach. I was like perfectly mid-pack, which I'm quite happy with, because I think for every race I was like perfectly mid-pack, which to me is like fantastic because it's better than being like the back of the pack for like the amount of swimming I do.
Yeah. Okay. So you come out of the water mid-pack and you get onto your 1999 bike.
Yes.
How was it? Did you be able to draft off people? Were you just like sitting on people's wheels?
So in my mind, I was like, this is my race. I have the experience. I'm super strong. I was expecting to get out of the swim like further back, but then I was like, I'm going to get on the bike. I'm going to like sit in a pack, recover, bridge up to the next pack, and just like keep passing people and moving up and moving up and moving up. And no, that did not happen. The opposite happened, and I was like flabbergasted. So I was like trying to accelerate, and I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. And then so a pack of 2 cyclists came by, and I was like, okay, great. I'll like hop on with them. So I like hopped on with them, and they're going like 18 to 20 miles an hour. And I was like struggling so badly to hold on. And I was just like, I guess I'm really tired. And then they dropped me, and I was just like, wow, I feel really crappy. And then like it kept happening where like then the next pack would come and be like, great, I can jump on with them. And then I would like struggle so bad to stay with them and then get dropped. And then I was starting to feel like something was definitely wrong because I was like, why am I struggling to like hold just 15 to 16 miles an hour when I'm not in a pack? Like, this is ridiculous. I know I'm way stronger than this. And then I'm like wondering all the things that could go wrong. Is it because my bike's just too old? Is it because I really just started riding the road bike a week ago and I should have been riding it all this time? I haven't really been on I actually hadn't ridden that bike since I was pregnant with Ainsley because the handlebars are like more relaxed, right, than a tri bike. And so I was just like, I don't know what's wrong, but I was like putting out like pretty good power numbers. Like I think my max power was like over 400 and I was just not going anywhere. And I was just like, I just suck. What is wrong with me?
400 watts usually gets you faster than 18 miles an hour.
I know. And I was like, I don't understand. I should have no problem holding 18 to 20 miles an hour, like drafting somebody. And so it was like very demoralizing. And
How did you feel when you got off and got on the run? Were your legs okay on the run?
So I got off the bike and it's gonna sound kind of elitist, but I was like one of the slowest bike splits in my age group. I was like the 11th one out of 12. But it dropped me off in T2 where everyone around me like was running like 5 minutes slower than what I would run. So I was just like, this is really weird, but everyone's just like running kind of slow back here. And I'm just gonna run. I wasn't like running. I was like very demoralized. So I was just like running, not that hard, but I was like, but I'm passing everybody. So I just like was like, all right, I'll just keep picking people off. It feels like shit. This is like the longest 5K ever. And then towards the end, my friend slash rival Victoria, who you know,
I know Victoria. Are you running like you're running on the through that park that's like right next to the art museum? Okay, I've run through that park.
So there is a part where you kind of swing by, like if you were to make a right, the finish line's right there, but they have you swing to the left and do this out and back.
Oh.
I know, so you could kind of like see people at the end, and I was like, I'm gonna close in on her. I think I could get her.
So you saw Victoria.
So I saw Victoria, and I caught her like in the final stretch.
Victoria Anderson, right? Anderson is her last name.
Yes.
And she is like a nuclear physicist or like nuclear engineer from Washington, D.C.
She lives in D.C.
Yeah, she's very good. She's a great triathlete. So this is
she's a strong athlete.
Worthy person to be running down.
And she's my teammate for mixed team relay the next day. So
and you two are in the same age group.
We're in the same age group, and like we've lived sort of close to each other for a while. So at one point she was faster and then I got faster. So we have this rivalry. And I was like, I'm going to catch her. So I think I like caught up to her and like smacked her on the shoulder and then like sprinted by. And Ainsley was there and she had made a sign that said, "Go Mom," that she was like very proudly like holding out over her head. She was like so happy to wave her sign around. And so I got to see her like running through the finish. And so it ended on a happy note. And then I was just like, all right, well, how did I do? And I got 7th and top three is a podium, but this was like out of 12. And I was just like, I was not happy because I was just like, I know I could do better. And then like my friends are trying to cheer me up and they're like, well, these are like the best people in the country doing draft legal. Like not everyone wants to do draft legal because it's like hard. And I was just kind of like, yeah, but I feel like I could have been one of the best in the country. And then someone else was like, oh, draft legal is just really different. And I'm like, but I know how to do triathlon. Like, none of this is making me feel better.
I get it. Like, they're trying to make you feel better. I've had that before. They're really good. I'm like, so am I.
Yeah, you're like, but I feel like I could have been better. I did not have a good race. Like, 7th is not good for me. Right. So, and then it wasn't until hours and hours and hours later, I'm just like stewing about this. And I'm like, you know what? The only thing that, could maybe make me feel better is if there's something like wrong with my bike. So I finally got to my bike and I spun the pedal and the rear wheel did not move, like it barely budged. And I was just like, oh no. And I texted you right away. I was like, Haley would understand this.
I do understand that. Unfortunately, I have had that situation. And this was me, St. George 2022 Ironman World Championship. And it was very similar, putting out insane power numbers that I should not have been doing. And getting past, like, I'm standing still. And I'm like, I guess I just suck. Like, it was.
That's how I felt. I was like, it's me. I just suck. That difference more than I thought.
I did try to run a marathon after that, and I was like, I can't do it. My legs were shot. So I didn't have that experience that you had. I'm glad you had a good running experience. But it is, like, psychologically, it messes with you. And then finding out that there was something wrong was very, like, it's like gratifying, like you said. Like, you get to find out it's not
relief,
just you.
But it's so frustrating.
So frustrating because you're like, the race that could have been. Like, if I was like, if I didn't have that working against me that whole time, like, maybe it would have been, your race. And so I am bummed for that. But I'm glad you figured it out. I am glad you figured it out. I'm sad that you had that experience.
I'm glad I had like 2 other races the next couple days. So, and I know exactly how it happened too, is I don't travel with my bike very much, right? And so when we flew in Thursday, got to the hotel, we were actually able to check in early into the room. So we were able to get into the hotel room like just before noon. But then for a Friday race, you also had to check in your bike that afternoon. So I like put together my bike, and of course I traveled with my friend Kathy, who is racing the Olympic distance on Saturday, and then my daughter Ainsley, who's 5, and I was like, let's guess how fast I can put my bike together.
How fast was it? Who won?
Well, so Kathy was like 25 minutes and Ainsley was like 2 minutes. And so it took me 12 minutes, and that was even with putting like the derailleur on like a little bit wrong and then having to take it off and then put it back on again. So it took me 12 minutes, but I did not tighten down the back skewer enough because I was like trying to be fast, and I was like, I'll go back to this. And then it turned out that the front wheel had a little bobble in it. And so I was like really concerned about the front wheel. And so I had time to take it to the bike mechanic and be like, please like true my front wheel. Like everything else seems fine. And so they did straighten out my front wheel. And so that was just from like the transport. But I like rode it a little bit. I didn't have a chance to do like a good real ride on it. So I was able to like ride it pretty easy around that like Discovery World Museum. And then I was like, all right, time to check it in. But I think what happened during the race is like, it was fine for like a little easy ride, but as soon as I like stood up and put any torque onto that rear wheel, like I think the whole thing just shifted into the brake pad. And I don't know anything about disc brakes, if that happens with disc brake wheels too, but for like...
It can. Yes, it can still rub on a disc brakes. Because I thought disc brakes would solve everything, and they don't. But,
okay.
So, yes, this is just something that, I mean, a lot of athletes probably are going to relate to this. It's just like fancy bikes are, and even 1999 bikes are still pretty fancy. Like, they're just high maintenance, right?
They're
like
maintenance.
me. They're like me as a human. You got to make sure things aren't chafing.
So I'll never make that mistake again. But also, like, during the race, it didn't occur to me at all that that's what was happening because I was still moving. And I feel like I have gotten off my bike in like a longer race before, but when it's like something that's like short and fast, draft legal, like it never occurred to me like get off the bike and check your rear wheel. But
right. No, I mean, yeah. But you still got through it. 7th place, fantastic. And then you're riding the same bike then next day in the super sprint mixed relay. So this is where I had the super
team
sprint
relay.
And this is draft legal as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about this. This was your first mixed team relay. You're with now you and Victoria are teaming up. You have 2 women and 2 men, is that right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, this was so fun. So it was 4 p.m. on Saturday. The Olympic was in the morning. So in the morning we did some spectating and cheering for Kathy. And then actually one of our teammates...
You did go out and spectate and cheer.
I did, because I was just like... Yeah, I was like, last year, what did I do? Just stay in my hotel room the whole time in Milwaukee? Like, what the hell? I should at least go see my friends that I know from like all over the country. So, and I did bump into people. Oh my gosh. I bumped into so many people. So there's my friend Hannah, who is the child of 2 American expats that were living in Singapore when I was a pro. And Hannah was like maybe 7 or 8 years old, like not much older than Ainsley. So yeah, Hannah was doing the Olympic, and as me and Ainsley were like walking to the finish line from the start line, I was like kind of looked and was like, Hannah?
Oh, cool.
Who's all grown up now and like did the Olympic distance, but hadn't seen him in I don't know, 10 or 15 years.
That's so cool. And I mean, that is one of the nice things about these big races is they are sort of reunions. I think you also you got a little selfie with a past Ironman world champion.
I didn't just get a selfie. Oh my gosh. It was like, so Karen Smyers and Mishonda Miles were like the race announcers. And Mishonda is a good friend, Team Varlo teammate, but also hosts Try Beginner's Luck podcast. So she's had me on her podcast. So I always like get a selfie with Mishonda, but then it was like, that's Karen Smyers, isn't it? And for those that don't know,
won Kona 1995, right?
And also won like the world, I don't know what they called it back then. Was it still ITU? She also won like the ITU World Championships like a couple times before then for short course. But yeah, I was like, can I get a picture with her? And she's like, oh my gosh, you need to like go just introduce yourself and talk to her. So like Mishonda took this whole video of me like introducing myself. And then Mishonda is like, tell her who you are and what you did. So Mishonda is like just the biggest hype woman, because even I think she lives in DC, but she also like has done race announcing at other local races I've done, and anytime she announces me across the line, she's like, she's the first female Asian American pro triathlete. Like she tells everybody, and I love that. So she made me tell Karen Smyers, and Karen is amazing. She was like, so have there been like an influx of other Asian American ladies after you? And I was like, not that many, but there have been some. But it was pretty cool meeting her.
That's so cool. I'm a huge Karen Smyers fan. She once, I think after New York last year, she commented on my after New York Marathon, she commented on my Instagram, and I like nearly died. So, I mean, huge fan. Definitely worth getting a selfie. I'm also a huge fan of Mishonda, and love that Try Beginner's Luck podcast, and just love that she was your hype woman. What a cool story. I did love that video, and congratulations on making that connection. You know, these are things that we're working on, going up and talking to our heroes and telling them they are our heroes. So very good job. So you had that was the experience cheering, and then you went back for your own race at 4 p.m.
At 4 p.m., yes. Oh, and I also got a new outfit for it. I was so excited about it.
I saw this. You raced in a swimsuit.
I raced in a one-piece
like
swimsuit.
Very Karen Smyers style.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I felt like very Taylor Spivey. I just felt like, you know what? There's this company at the expo, Delphina Athletics, they had these, they call them triathlon ponchos. So I have a couple that I bought that were like, they're geared for like surfers, but they're like these changing ponchos you can use. But they had some in really fun designs in kid sizes. So Ainsley got one like the first day of the expo, and then actually I got a matching one with her on the final day. But we can go into that next later. But they had, that was also where they were having people like make signs for their loved ones. So Ainsley was like, we have to go back. We need to make a sign for Aunt Kathy. So she was there just to like use their supplies to make a sign. And then I kept looking at their like swimsuits, and they had one that was like, it was a white swimsuit, but it was a Halloween design, and it had all these like cartoon monsters and ghosts on it. And I was like, it's super cute. And I was like, I don't know what my size is, but apparently it was like the last one. And I was like, I'll just try it on. And it was like fit perfect. And I was like, you know what? I was going to rewear the outfit I had on yesterday because I washed it in the sink and it dried in time. But I need to have a third outfit because I'm doing 3 races in 3 days. I need 3 outfits. And it's like you're only biking 2.7 miles. Like,
Okay.
I could do that in a swimsuit. And it's an 800-meter run. Like, I can do that in a swimsuit. It had really good butt coverage. My butt wasn't hanging out.
Yes, I love it. So you have your new outfit. You're feeling good. What was the order of the relay? What position did you go?
So they voted me to go first.
Okay.
Which I like know nothing about mixed team relay. So the other 3 people on my team had all done it before, and I think they may have even all done it at Worlds, if not also at Nationals. So it was Victoria, her friend Joe Navratil, who had also, I think he's from Wisconsin because he's on the Blake Becker team. And I was like, I know Blake Becker. I used to train with him.
I met Blake in Brazil years ago, but he does have a BBMC, Team BBMC in that Madison, Wisconsin area. A lot of his athletes out there. Okay,
so I met him when I did Ironman Wisconsin in grad school, and like both me and him won the collegiate Ironman championship.
Wow, you go way
so
back.
that was 20 years ago. It was 2006.
Okay.
And or no, 2005. It was 2005.
Now you're racing with one of his protegés.
One of his
And then who was
athletes.
your other man?
Okay, and then so we needed a 4th guy. So I asked my coach, Liz Waterstrat, I was like, do you have any fast guys on your team? And then it was like, what about your husband? So we got her husband, Chris.
All right. And how the mixed team relay, you add up all of your ages, and that's your age group, right?
So, okay. So we are like, because I don't know, there was some confusion. I know Liz was like, I don't know, he might be too old. And then it turned out it doesn't matter. They just add your ages, and then it's a combined age groups. So me and Victoria are both like 45, 46-ish. And then I think our 2 guys are 53. So we were one of the younger teams on the 191 to 220 age group.
All right. Okay.
And we had this group email going where they had all done it before, and so they're like strategizing. They're like, it should be like the fastest woman goes first, and then the fastest guy goes last. So I was like, but Victoria's like a much better swimmer than me, and she's been having some iron issues. So she was like, but I think you're like faster than me overall, so you would have a better chance of like bridging up to like the bike packs if you're like a stronger biker. And I was like, okay. Of course, after like my Friday experience, I was like, is it really the bike or is it me?
No, it's scary. I had that same thing when I raced the next time after. I was like, I hope it was really the bike. And then it ended up, it was like for me, and it seems like it was for you too.
Yes.
Like it's so much more fun when your wheel's not rubbing.
Exactly. Okay. So I also love that being the first leg, like the swim for the first leg is different than the other 3 legs because you start at the swim dock and then you go into the finish chute. But then if you are the second, third, or fourth leg, you like high five, you get the high five from your teammate, and then you have to jump in basically right next to where the exit is and do a triangle.
Okay.
Okay, so the fun part is being first leg. There were 60 teams, and it was a mass start, 60 teams doing 225 meters, and there's like really old ladies in there, there's teenagers in there, but nobody cares. Everyone's like beating each other up for 5 minutes straight.
Wow, so it was just really intense.
Yeah.
And then you got out of there. How did that feel? Was it fun?
It was so fun, but it was also like kind of psychotic because and then my friend Jocelyn was helping to watch Ainsley, and they were like watching overhead, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you were like mid-pack," and mid-pack is where there's like most of the people like beating each other up. But like anyone that watched it was like, "Oh my gosh, that was like so chaotic." There's like everyone's just hitting each other like the whole way. And that's how it felt. I was like arms and legs all around me, and then at one point I mostly breathe on my right, and there was someone just breathing on her left, and her face was like right next to mine, like the whole way. And I was like, I have never swam with so many people before, like throughout the entire swim, and hitting people, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm hitting an old lady, but whatever. She's probably hitting me back.
And then you can draft on the bike, right? I mean, are you still only drafting off women? Is it still just, was it, because I mean, did some people put their first person? Okay,
you have to go woman, man, woman, man. Yes.
Okay.
So it has to be like start with a woman and with a man, and you have to like alternate. So it was all women on the bike, and yeah, I got on the bike, and it was just like I had imagined it should be.
Yes, you're just passing people, bridging up to the next group.
Yes. So I was just like, oh my God, I feel phenomenal. This is how I felt like I should have raced the day before, but my brakes were rubbing. So I felt really good. I was like, yep, I'm like going 24 miles an hour, not drafting. This is how I should ride.
Yes.
It wasn't me. It was my freaking bike. So I would like hop on a group, like be like, okay, they're going too slow, drop them, and then go up to the next pack. It was really short. It was just like go out and then there's a U-turn. The U-turn was like a right-sided U-turn, which I feel like we don't do as much as like the left-sided ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was in front of a small pack going through this U-turn, and so I'm like going through the U-turn. I hear somebody crash like behind my left shoulder. Like you could hear it. It's like, oh, someone just ate it. And it's like, but what do? Can't do anything. Maybe you should have been in front of me.
Oh man, so just keep going.
So I just kept going, and it was like, oh, sorry. Work on those bike handling skills. And then I was like, well, I ran the 800 in high school. I'm a good 800 runner, but I had never run an 800 after going all out for 5 minutes on the swim and then like almost 8 minutes all out on the bike. And I was like, I'm going as fast as I can, but my legs aren't moving. And then high-fived Joe, my teammate, and then it was like really fun because you could track it.
Yeah.
So the teammates that weren't like racing, we all had our phones out, and then it got to like, I don't know, went from like fourth to like second place at some point, but we were like really close to the third place team. And then it was like, oh, we're good. Chris is our anchor. He's super fast. He's like won his age group at nationals. It turned out that the team that was right next to us, their anchor was 30 years old.
Dang. So they, because it's combined age, so they just had some older people. Age,
so yeah, I was like, he must just be on a team with like way older people. So we could see on the tracker, like we had 45 seconds, and then it was like suddenly we had like 30 seconds and then 15 seconds, and then we're like, okay, we see him, and we're like screaming, he's right behind you, and we like beat the third place team by 5 seconds.
So Chris held off the 30-year-old.
Chris,
53-year-old Chris.
3-year-old Chris held off the 30-year-old. Yay, Chris.
All right. And so you got a podium at Nationals.
Yes, we got second place for our mixed team relay. It was so cool.
That is very cool. Congratulations. That had to feel really good to get on that podium.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned, okay, the third day you're racing the individual sprint, non-drafting though, but on your same road bike because you only brought one bike.
I did bring on clip-on bars.
Okay, so you clipped on aero bars so that you could beat aero. And then this is now when you're supposed to be, I think, 6 bike lengths, 12 meters. I think that's what it is behind
you're
the person.
Just, don't draft.
Unless you're actively passing them.
Right.
And so now you have your bike, you're coming off the high of that podium in the relay. Your bike's working. But you're getting up for the third day to race again. How did that feel?
Well, so the hardest part, I think, was like after the relay. I think we were done by like, it wasn't quite 5:30 yet. And I'm like looking at my watch and they're like, okay, well, awards is 7 to 8:30.
That's late.
But also they combined the Olympic awards with mixed team relay awards. So we're like, okay, it can't be any sooner than like 7:30. They've got to do the Olympic ones first. But I'm like, okay, we've got like 2 hours. I have time to go back to the hotel, take a shower, like get some dinner. And then as I'm walking towards like the parking garage, I walk by my bike with all the gear and I'm like, oh crap, I got to get my bike out of transition. And there's like other athletes there that are like, yeah, it doesn't open till 5:45. So you had to take your bike out of transition and then check it in for the next race before 7 p.m. And I was just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? So they weren't letting people into transition yet because there was still like the slower teams were still out there like actively using the transition area. So they were like, okay, at 5:45, we're going to let you go in one at a time. So people started lining up to get their bikes one at a time. Of course, like I go in, get my bike, start taking it to the parking garage before I turn around and I'm like, what am I doing? I need to check this back into the other transition area.
Oh man. So the logistics were kind of tough.
The logistics were wild. Yeah, I was just like, what is happening? Because some races, like the longer races, you had to check it in the night before, but then they wouldn't let me check in the mixed team relay bike that day you couldn't check it in the night before because they were switching the transition over. There was like just a lot of shuffling going on. And so it was like a lot of logistics. So then we finally got back to the hotel only to be like, we have to go back to the finish line to like go to awards. I'm not missing awards because I've never podiumed at nationals before. So it was hard. Like I didn't even like get a proper meal. Like luckily I had friends also staying in the same hotel where they're like, we got this huge pizza, we're leaving it in the lobby for you.
Oh yay.
Yeah.
That's good friend.
Thank you Jocelyn and Blair for the leftover pizza.
That's great. But the awards were worth it. And then you probably had a pretty late night. How early were you there the next morning? So
then the next morning, it wasn't as bad. The transition area closed at 6:30. So
6:30 a.m.
6:30 a.m.
So you're leaving at like 8:30 p.m., going and eating leftover pizza, and then you're back at 6:30 a.m.
Yeah. So it was like, I think me and Ainsley like got to transition at like 6 a.m. and I'm like, okay, I got to put on my clip-on aero bars because I didn't do it the night before, which I initially thought I would, but I was just like, I'm so tired. I'm not dealing with this crap right now.
Yeah.
So I used like every last second of like that transition time because they start calling out, you've got 15 minutes, you've got 10 minutes, you've got 5 minutes, and then they kick you out.
My worst nightmare. But you got it done, and
We got
and
it
then
done. And then I didn't race until almost 9 o'clock a.m. But
so that's a lot of
But
sitting
they also
around.
had the para triathlon national championships, and that had started at like 6 a.m. So it was cool because initially I was like, maybe I'll have time to like just go back to the hotel and chill. But I was like, no, that's gonna make it even like crazier. Because by the time we get back to the hotel, it'll be time to come back, and let's not do that. So the cool thing though was I got to show Ainsley all of the para athletes racing, and
Oh,
so she's
cool.
been to work with me before. She knows like she's seen prosthetic legs before. She calls them robot legs. So we got to see all the people that were racing on robot legs, and then I got to explain to her the visually impaired athletes because it was like, well, have you seen the double bikes? And do you know why there's like two people on one bike? Do you know what blind means or visually impaired means? So I got to explain all that to her about how like the person in the front is like the eyes for the person that can't see, and then later you see them running with the tether. So she like was taking it all in to the point where I was like, okay, do you remember why there's like two people on one bike? And she just rolled her eyes and she's like, Mom, I know that already. I'm like, okay, you're smart. I don't have to tell you things two times.
That is a cool experience, though, given that your work as a orthotist, and
Yeah.
connecting that to here are athletes that the kind of people that you can work with. So that is kind
Yes.
of neat.
Yeah, all the
For her to
wheelchair
see.
racers. So that was cool having her see everybody. And then then I finally got to race. The swim felt like, I mean, all my swims felt decent. So it was better than like feeling horrible. They felt decent, perfectly mid-pack.
I love these mid-pack.
And
Celebrate the
yeah,
mid-pack.
exactly. It was like if there was like 60 people, I was like 30th.
Perfect. You're right in it, in the
So,
mix. And then
yeah.
did you
Yeah.
work your way up on the bike? Is that what you
Yeah.
did?
So
All
I
right.
felt, and I was like really proud of my old green road bike because I did feel like I was passing a lot of people on my road bike. I did get passed, but only by people on tri bikes.
Okay.
Fast women on tri bikes, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll give it to you. But I felt strong on the bike, and then on the run, I felt okay. But I was just like all the racing caught up to me. Like I wasn't like didn't feel super peppy, and then there were two women, which I do wish we had our ages on our calves because I was like, I think they're in my age group, but I don't know. Like if I knew, would I care more? I don't know. But there were two women that did pass me early on, and I kept them in my sight, but they kind of pulled away. And then towards the end, I was like, okay, I'm reeling them in again. But I didn't really have it in me to like kick to go catch them. And then it turns out that they were 10th and 11th, and I got 12th.
That
By
top 10 was right
10
there.
seconds, yes. And so top 10 is a podium, and I got 12th by 10 seconds. So I missed 10th by 10 seconds, and I was like, if I had my tri bike, I think I could have gotten 10 seconds. But also, I was like, it's okay. I'm like happy with how I did. I could only do so much. I learned a lot. But also, there was this crazy thunderstorm that
Right. I got the alert because I was tracking, and
you,
it was like
you were on the app, right?
I was on the app, and it was like, get your bikes out of transition. Awards are canceled.
Yes. So it was like, well, even if I got top 10, I wouldn't have had an award ceremony anyway. But it was bad. It was like my friend Chrissy at the Team Barlow tent was helping with Ainsley, and she's like, how do you feel about finishing like by this time? Because that's when like the eye of the storm is supposed to hit transition or to hit the finish line area. And I was like, yeah, I think I could do that. So yeah, right when I finished, they're like, all right, we're packing up the expo stuff. We're packing up the tent. And then me and Ainsley just like hustled over to transition to like get my gear bag and the bike. And then we like got to the whole time we're just like, we got to beat the storm. We got to beat the storm. So we made it back to the parking garage. And then like 2 minutes later, like the whole sky just like fell on us. Like it was pouring torrential rain. And I was like, well, we made it. We made it to the parking garage.
Good
And she was
job.
like, okay.
They got the post-race race in as well.
The post-race race. And she was like, okay, now can we go to the hotel? And I was like, no, honey, let's just hunker down in here and let the storm pass because I'm not driving in that right now.
Yeah. Okay. So you were able to get out of that safely. And
Yeah.
I feel like you've had a little bit of time to reflect on the whole experience and that depression you talked about that you kind of carried around from a year. Do you feel like that's lifted now that you have that experience? Are you feeling more motivated? Are you jazzed about triathlon?
I am. So I don't know. I was really not excited for I don't know, like this season I just was like, I don't know why. There's a lot going on. I'm just not excited. It's nationals. I just going through the motions. But then I'm reflecting and I'm like, I think I was like scared of caring too much. And it was like, well, because if you care too much and it doesn't go your way, then you get let down. But now I'm like, I don't know, I kind of want to go to Hamburg. So I qualified to go to the World Championships in Hamburg, which is next September. And initially, I think I've even said this on the podcast, like, do I care how I finish, like, in the world? Not really. But then after awards, like, me and my teammates, they're taking pictures, and they're all like, so guys, Hamburg next year? And someone else was like, oh yeah, I could be convinced. Victoria and her husband are both going. They're planning to. And then I think Chris may be going. And Joe is probably the one that was like, I couldn't be convinced. And I was kind of like, probably not. And then the more I've been like thinking about it, I was like, I kind of want to go. Like, they can't substitute me on the relay team. I want to go with my relay team.
You were the lead off. That's important. And also, I haven't been to Hamburg, but I've heard really good things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like people that have done Ironman Hamburg or like raced ITU, whatever they call it now, World Triathlon Series, they've all like had such good things to say about Hamburg. And I mean, it's not that far from the East Coast, so it's like doable.
Would you do additional events then as well?
So I would do the draft legal sprint, and then the mixed team relay, which would be, I know. I already asked Victoria what the schedule is, and she's like, the sprint is on Thursday and mixed team relay is Sunday, and there's a whole parade of nations. You get to wear a Team USA kit. And I was like, I've never qualified for World Championships before, which is kind of crazy considering how long I've been like doing triathlon.
That's so cool. I mean, I haven't done this myself, but I do know several people who have, and I've had athletes race in those world championships and have incredible times. They loved it. And so I think that there is a very cool community of athletes that are really competing hard at these short distance races that are super fast in really cool locations. And I love that you're part of it now.
Yeah, and I'm almost like, I think it might be time to get a new bike.
All right. I feel like some electronic shifting and have you ever had a bike with electronic shifting?
No.
Okay, it's life-changing. I will say, I tell people, yes, that is worth the money. I think it is worth the money. It is so nice. And I was a late holdout. I'm a Luddite. I'm someone who's like loves my mechanical everything. But oh, it's worth it. And especially I can imagine in those short races where you're like just making shifts really quick, like just to be able to like hit a button is very nice.
Right. Yeah, because I was like, okay, I had always said I'm going to wait for Ainsley to get out of daycare before I like even think about getting another bike. So my tri bike is it's a 2014 or 2015. And then my road bike's like a 1999. So those are my two main bikes. And yeah, so I'm probably overdue. And the technology, like even when I got like a new like bottom of the line Orca wetsuit. I was like, oh my God, this is like way nicer than like some of the top of the line stuff I had from 10, 15 years ago.
That's so cool.
So I'm like, I don't need anything fancy, but whatever I get is like probably gonna be a lot nicer than what I got like 26 years ago.
That's great. I mean, okay, that's a very fun thing to potentially look forward to. And I just love that you're having fun with it. It just, your text messages from the race were so happy and excited, and it just felt like you were just having a really, really good time. And I was just really happy for you. I was like, I love this.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's why we do these sports, right? Because getting there is hard, but lugging your bike there is hard. Getting someone to hang out with Ainsley while you're racing, that has to be hard. And just, but you pulled it off, and you had a great time, and you got to reconnect with so many people. And
yeah,
I'm really proud of your performances. You overcame adversity, and you also got to be a little celebrated by Karen Smyers and Michonne Deshawn. So I feel like it was such a great weekend. So congratulations. And I just I know that this isn't the end for you. It's just like, wait, I also want to add, I think you swam today. Did you swim today?
Oh, I went to the pool with Ainsley and we had our Rita's water ice, but I did swim on Friday, which is probably...
So you're keeping the swim streak alive. I saw that. Your Rita's water ice looks so good. They put ice cream on top of it, so it's like slushy with is it with like frozen yogurt on top?
So it's Rita's water ice and frozen custard is like the whole company name. And so you can there's like many flavors of water ice, and then you can get frozen custard on top. And then Ainsley also gets unicorn glitter is what they call it. There's like special sprinkles that are like pink and blue and iridescent. And
I love it.
That's what she likes to get.
Well, I fully support the post-swim drink. I'm glad y'all are both getting back to the pool, getting back to your post-swim treats. And I hope you can bask in this joy for, a few more weeks and decide what you're thinking for the next season. But congratulations.
I almost wanted to retire from triathlon again. And I'm just like, no, you know what? I do really love this sport. It's great.
I'm so glad. Well, congratulations, Jocelyn. Thank you for telling me all about it. And we're still going to have to catch up on things. So we'll hear more about it in the next couple weeks if you decide to go for the new bike. If you decide to, how long do you have to decide on Hamburg? When do you have to decide on that?
Oh my gosh. I know. I'm like trying to convince my husband to like either do a family trip or just like me and him together. We'll see. But the emails are supposed to go out sometime next week.
Okay. Well, we'll wait with bated breath on your decision there. But it's been great catching up, and congratulations again. Yay. Keep recovering well. All the water ice and frozen custard and unicorn glitter.
Yay. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Haley.